Today, we are lucky to have with us Mr. Anjan Dasgupta, partner at DSK Legal, who specializes, amongst other things, in infrastructure and energy project development, finance and M&A, public-private partnerships, government contracts, and public procurement. Mr. Anjan Dasgupta has been ranked as a leading lawyer in India and Asia by the likes of Chambers Global, Chambers Asia Pacific, and Legal 500. Today, we're here to have Mr. Dasgupta share some of his insights with regard to the transport sector. And without further ado, I'll start with the first question. Bringing the logistics costs in India down from 14% to 10% of GDP is a key objective of India. The policy that was recently announced by the government earlier this year is also building on key earlier policies like Bharatmala and Sagarmala. What initiatives and implementation are required to achieve this objective?
See, the logistics industry in India, mainly comprising of supply chain activities, transportation, inventory management, flow of information, and customer service, has been riddled with several shortcomings. For example, non-provision of last mile delivery, loss of time and money for manufacturers, wastage of products. Further, the logistics industry is highly disorganized and the costs are relatively higher in India, around 13 to 14% of GDP. So accordingly, what the government of India did is in September 17th, 2022, they came up with the National Logistics Policy. This is primarily to improve logistics efficiency by way of reduced costs and integration of systems. The policy basically aims at increasing the competitiveness of Indian products in the domestic as well as the international market by reducing cost of logistics by around 5 to 6%. That's the target. So the target under the National Logistics Policy is that the logistics cost should come within the global standards by 2030. Also create a data-driven decision support mechanism for successful logistics ecosystem and improve India's ranking under the Logistics Performance Index. And for this, the government has come up with multiple steps. For example, establishing integration of digital systems to enable digital integration of different systems of various departments, then establishing unified logistics interface platform to ensure shorter and smoother cargo movement and exchange information confidentially on real-time basis, ensuring ease of doing business through transparency and accessibility, and also establishing a system improvement group to monitor all logistics related projects on a regular basis. By all this, the government's intention is to reduce the cost by around 5%. This is no doubt a great initiative of the government. Now it is only the implementation, and that has to be done on a war footing.
The PM Gati Shakti program aims at harmonizing and digitizing the entire sector across all modes of transportation in India. To what extent do you think this will aid India's performance in global supply chains?
See, the Indian road logistics and transportation sector, as I mentioned earlier, is scattered and fragmented by nature, with different stakeholders working in vacuum. They lack coordination, inefficiencies in expenses, and duplication of efforts. In fact, due to this very scattered nature of the logistics industry, India has spent around 13 to 14% of the GDP as supply chain logistics costs. Whereas if you look at China or US, it's around, China would be around 7 to 8% and USA would be around 10%. So we have a long way to go. Also, if you look at it, the COVID disruption and the Russia-Ukraine war has clearly exposed the deficiencies in global supply chain. India, due to its demographic advantage, is very well placed now to capitalize on this. That is one of the primary reasons why the government came up with the PM Gati Shakti, which is the National Master Plan for Multimodal Connectivity. What it does essentially is a digital platform to bring 16 ministries, including the railways and the roadways, all under the same digital platform for integrated planning and coordinated implementation of infrastructure connectivity projects. Though this Gati Shakti National Master Plan had come about in October 2021, but actually the Finance Minister, Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman, in the budget of 2022 announced a lot of policy around this Gati Shakti initiative, and one of the main thing that was done was the plan has received its first outlay of rupees 20,000 crores for FY 22-23. Again, this, if implemented effectively, can really aid in promoting coordination amongst all stakeholders, which are the drivers of the growth engine as such. For example, the roads, railways, airports, port, mass transportation, waterways, logistics infrastructure. So ultimately, this will result in efficiency of supply chain model. Now, if you look at it, the PM Gati Shakti has been really transformative by adopting a single coordinated approach. So it is now around 14,000 connectivity projects have been planned, which include 2 lakh kilometers of national roadways, more than 65 ports, 3 national waterways, over 100 airports and helipads, and also increasing capacity of the railway net. DSK Legal has been fortunate to work initially on this project when the Mumbai port authorities came up with their plan under this national master plan for Gati Shakti. So, Gaurav, coming back to your question, I think this whole PM Gati Shakti, along with the national infrastructure pipeline and the national logistics policy, as mentioned earlier, provides a much needed momentum to the logistics sector. This will definitely aid in cementing the position of India in the global supply chain market.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Dasgupta, for sharing your insights and your expertise on the developments and announcements that we've seen over the course of the past year. And I'm sure there will be further announcements and developments in the coming year as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.